my one of my favorites just because of how tight the main choke is and how aggressive you can be on the defensive side.
Defensive side is going to be a lot of fun here because I've seen this is one of my favorite maps that they start out here on the Overwatch Community Cup, specifically because you'll see two different kind of modes of play on the attacking team. They usually will come really quick and actually dive forward in this first window, or they'll maybe slow push out the front, and both of those are great for advantageous for the defense, as you said.
Correct. So let's take a quick look at the comps. So I'm going to go ahead and take a look at LA Mortals here. What it seems to be a more aggressive or more dive comp with Summer Haze on Winston and what's his name? Hebrew Hammer? Is that correct?
Hebrew
with
Hammer.
Diva. They're going to go ahead and essentially, from what I'm assuming, based on the tank's picks, they're going to go ahead and attempt a dive comp on this initial push. I do agree. I do really like the triple support. I've always been a fan of triple support. But it all comes down to whether the other team is holding down a fort with the shield and if there's enough damage to get through that shield.
Absolutely. Top left, we are going to have the other team, the Shanghai Staggered. We do have their team comp is a little different than what you might expect from the defense. You do have actually two flanking DPS. You're going to have Ryutix on the Genji, and you're going to have, unfortunately, I can't see because of my freaking overlay. We do have a Sombra. We're gonna, hopefully, I'd like to see maybe them kind of not push too far on the other side of the gate. Sombra is going to be able to do that very well with their recall, but right now we do have the two tanks of Reinhardt and Winston, and they're setting up on the high ground, which I can like. Winston's already going to be a good tank to kind of deal with up and down, because if you control the high ground, you usually will have a lot higher chance of successfully winning the fight.
An orthodox defense position by the Shanghai. But I like it because they are holding the high ground with the monkey from the LA Mortals jumping in, trying to get them out of the high ground. Now they're all going to go ahead and focus on the point, trying to focus on the main tanks from the offensive side.
Summer Haze does go down, being all by himself. He's dying a little by alone. Right now with the Hebrew Hammer getting out of mech, Honey Badger getting taken down by Ranger over. Right now the Ryan is kind of doing most of the damage by swinging his hammer, and Chicken Nugget is going to finish off Link Thinks before he gets away.
And that's going to be an easy defensive attempt, a successful attempt by Shanghai, and that was overall a very poor delivery when it comes to dive by LA Mortals. If we just quickly remember that the initial dive was only Winston. Summer did not have anyone following him. Maybe there was some miscommunication there, but he really had no type of support.
They're definitely changing it up right now. Notice that the entire team moved together that time. Now they are kind of breaking off a little bit. Honey Badger going with the Genji. The rest of the team kind of going up to the high ground. Winston jumping up to trying to push them back, realizing hopefully that two members of the team are not there. The two members kind of flanking behind. They are going to get Chicken Nugget down. Mercy going to be trying to get in the background, trying to res, but Mirage is going to run back as he should. They're going to move the fight onto the point now. Ranger River going to get that charge up on Link Thinks. Mirai going to fall down to Hebrew Hammer. Bob going to win the Lucio thing. Blade coming out. Going to be doing a lot of swinging. Not really finding anybody. Rutix getting taken down by Summer Haze before he was able to find a purchase with that ult of his. So it's going to be a final push and win for the Mortals.
Now that was a very, very intelligent move by LA Mortals. They essentially debated in a way by splitting up their comp, pushing right side, taking cover, and having two of their supports push full right. Now, what did that do? That it spread the defense into two sections, and the main tank was split on no man's ground. He did not know whether to push back left and cover that area or focus the main tanks on the main approach. So with that opening, they were able to dive successfully at the back line, the healers.
I'm curious if we're going to try this again on this next push to the second point. They are all going together top right, and then we have a lot of kind of spread out a little bit over here for the Mortals up, or the Shanghai up on top. Chicken Nugget just kind of doing his little poking up here, just his tanks back and forth. Winston tickling back and forth, getting Mirari. Quab going to finish off Ranger Hoover as well, and they are kind of coming back to the point itself. Winston jumps in, trying to get a little damage there on Star. Star has to recall. That's going to be a nano-boosted blade coming out. Not a lot of targets, unfortunately. Everyone's kind of waiting for him to come by. Mossball does get Runely, though. He goes down. The Monk is just monkey staggering to being up here to get on the point to make sure that it doesn't get too many ticks going. We already have one tick. A lot of ults coming out. We have a self-truck coming out that's going to find Rutix. Rutix is going to get shot out. That is Runely getting out his beat coming down. Trying to, again, this is mostly just trying to stagger and get a lot more time off the point as people start falling slowly, because there's a lot of healing coming out on the defensive team.
So right now, Shanghai is betting all of their luck on the Sombra ult. So let's see if that plays out.
Now, unfortunately, Star does go down before that ult falls down. Rage Recruiter gets slashed by Mosspaw. Rutik's going to fall down to Honey Badger. And Heber Hammer has Rune Lee in his sights and falls. They're going to start going up towards and just hold their spawn points. So there's going to be a full cap for the LA Mortals on the first push here on Hanamura.
Now, what the LA Mortals did not do right on the first point, they did extremely well on the second point. So they continue with their momentum. Right after the check on the first point, they decided to all get together and focus on a push on the right side and try to essentially pick anyone that tried to get a little bit too aggressive, which is what exactly happened. I believe the Rhine got separated from the group and he was essentially burned down by everyone on the team. And right after that pick, after your main tank is down, all you have to do is rely on your main tanks, especially when you have a dive comp, to just jump in and start creating chaos. And that's exactly what they did.
They really did. I really think the perhaps what Shanghai could have done is maybe more centralized and focused on their defense, because again, they were kind of spread out. Some people were above the kind of the walkway. One or two were, only one of them, Chinganugger, was actually up by where the team was pushing forward, and everybody else was kind of back and not really calling out targets. And so it was a lot harder to kind of deal with the ball of death as that last push was from LA Mortals.
And also, they decided, I wasn't too sure of the percentage from the Reinhardt and his ult on the defensive side. I believe it was Summer Haze, was it? He should have, in my opinion, switched to a tank, a more vertical tank like D.Va, for example. Not only will you be able to use your DM and neglect some damage that's coming on that left side, which is a very tight space, but also you're not going to get staggered on your own side of the field. He got stuck there as Ryan. There's not much movement, but with a D.Va, he might have been able to get away and not essentially put his team down, a one-man down.
Now I'm seeing here on the defense for the LA Mortals is more of a hold them at the point. They don't have a lot of vertical movement to say, but they do have the Mei, they do have the Ryan Zarya. Zarya going to be up here on the top, hopefully trying to get her own, getting shot at so she can get a lot of energy. Right now we have Ranger a little too far up. It's going to get walled off immediately, charged into each other. Not going to do it. And right now, Ruling coming to the other side, trying to save his Reinhardt, but unfortunately falls down to Summer Haze as well. So that's going to be 2 down already for Shanghai, 3 down for Shanghai, and then they're going to have to retreat and regroup.
And all of that was caused by the Mei wall, exactly. Even though we all hate her, when it comes to holding this choke, there's nothing better than perhaps a Mei wall. But it also comes down as how well you place it down. So Mospo with the great wall in the very beginning, in the first attack, buying them some time on the defensive side.
I will say I love the changes coming out from here from Shanghai. They get Rutix get off and get onto the Pharah, and then Mirai is going to be up in the air with him. So a lot of going to have Pharah Mercy up here, kind of combat basically the non-vertical and non-hit scan defense that we see out here from the LA Mortars. Unfortunately, Mirai does get fallen out the quad, and they're going to push forward just a little bit. Summer, unfortunately, all by himself. Like to see maybe going forward. A charge, almost going to get the Brigitte, but he did actually charge out of the charge, unfortunately. Heber Hammer doing a lot of Zarya things on the defense and having good charge, not high charge, but enough to finish him off.
So now, aside from the wall, doing what it's supposed to do, which is break up the play, it's also frustrating the team. Because now they swapped from a Rhine into a Winston. So now they're looking to essentially jump over the wall.
Unfortunately going to be caught out. I would have liked to see him maybe either jump off as soon as he realized he was separated from his team, or actually go farther back and use the vertical wall climbing of a Hanzo to maybe get on top of the building where he wouldn't be able to easily have been followed. But yeah, that's going to be a longer stagger. That's the Shanghai Knights are going to have to wait for him to respawn before they can do their next attempt.
So I'm going to go ahead, and now we have a dive tank range. Switch over to the Winston. Let's see how coordinated his dive is with Azaria as a support, as an off tank.
Dives in right now, kind of doing a lot of poke damage on the Summer, not really getting any damage through because there's a shield from Zarya and the shield from Summer. A Shatter going to find Runely on the ground, finished off with a fire strike. Farah's doing 3 shots here. I'd like to see more damage. And Galvo's getting the res, but unfortunately, we're getting a little too bold there, out in the middle. We'd like to see him maybe not get that, not even attempt the res necessarily. That's going to be another full hold over here for LA Mortals.
And then we have on the kill streak Quab with the Zenyatta getting the pick on the Pharah.
I
That is
applaud every single Zenyatta that can properly kill a Pharah.
I'm actually stunned by the fact that their Pharah, it's not technically being pocketed the full time, but she's not able to resolve this issue of one, focusing the Mei, as you are one of her direct counters, and number two, not taking more advantage of the back line that you have no counter.
Yeah, and right now we only have on the attacking side, we will have the grab, Dragon Strike in a second, and Justice is rained down, taking Summer Haze down, but Quab does finish her off as he's standing still. Star going to get Hebrew Hammer down. As they are down, it's now 5 versus 6, and there's a Mei ult coming out that does Hebrew Hammer getting rezzed by Lynx, but Quab does take down Mirai again. Unfortunately, not being able to stay alive as much as we'd like for the Mercy to be. Angry Monkey coming out, trying to pushing somebody in the hammer. Honey Badger getting knocked back and forth. Getting Discord, getting shielded. They are on the point. There is 3v4 right now.
And we have now we're waiting on Chicken Nugget to get that graph. That graph is going to be the
grab does not have Star's follow-up right now, however, because he's not here. It would just be essentially a grab and a Pharah just shooting as much as he can. When you have Rally coming out. There goes the grab. No real follow-up. Rujik's trying to get some damage in there. Quab takes him down, unfortunately. Chicken Nugget to take down Lynx. Summer Haze is fine Chicken Nugget. But Summer Haze also falling off himself. So far it looks like, unless they can get Rooney can jump on the point, the Ranger getting here in the Monkey. It is right now called the Stagger game. Can we actually delay enough?
And run,
high jump, grab coming out. We have a Transcendence coming out as well to try and counter any ult that comes with it, but nothing kind of followed it up. Ranger going to fall down, however. Right now it is essentially a zerging game right now. Mossball is going to take down Star. A Rez going to coming out from Mirai, getting Star back up into the mix. However, Chicken Nugget getting taken out of the mech and the little person. Another Justice, not going to find any real purchase after he does take down Hebrew Hammer before that, but Mossball does get him as he's standing still in the air. I am very impressed right now with what's going on with Shanghai. They are pushing forward. It is still 2v5, but they are getting countered by a number of ults and on fire right now of LA Mortals.
And that's going to be good.
That is going to be the first one. Star is a she. Thank you very much. I'll remember that. LA Mortal was able to do that full hold on that first point.
A very, very well defensive play by LA Mortals. Aside from the obvious, focusing on the Mei wall and the Mei ult, creating a lot of defensive space. They also had, I don't know if you noticed, but they were able to stick together as a group most of the entire fight, which created a very difficult challenge for their Ranger when he was able to dive in. Everyone was focusing him. I'm assuming the callouts were going off on Monkey, 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 because he was the one that was getting there first, and he was just not able to do anything with no follow-up.
Unfortunate, but that is going to force us to put the first map in the books, and we're going to be heading over to the next map very shortly.